Objectives of foreign policy. That is, in this clip, we will discuss what are the major objectives of foreign policy, or in other words, what a state want to achieve from its foreign policy. And by the end of the lecture, you will come to know the major objectives of the foreign policy. Usually, the basic objective of a foreign policy is its national interest. A state want to secure its national interest if they want to, when they are designing their foreign policy. Their prime objective is to secure their national interest. But to secure national interest, they take various objectives, or they consider various objectives for the foreign policy of a state. The first and the foremost objective of a foreign policy of a state is to seek to protect the territorial integrity of the country and to protect the interest of its citizens. So to protect the territorial integrity and the interest of citizens, states usually follow the policy of status quo. And if any state is not following, or if any state does not follow the policy of status quo, then that state become ambiguous, and that's called a revisionist state, and the member states in the other member states in the committee of the world consider it a suspicious state, and then the state will not be able to protect the territorial integrity of the country and protect the interest of its citizens. Next objective of the foreign policy is to maintain the links with other countries. Maintenance of links with other countries is also a prime objective. While making while designing the foreign policy, state considered the links with other countries. For example, a state A has good relations with state B. Then, while making relations with state C, state A will consider the relations of state A with state A will consider the relations with state B as well. They will see that their relations with state C must not disturb their relations with state B, because state B is already state A's friend. In real world, if you see the example of Pakistan is very reluctant to develop any sort of relations with Israel. The major purpose of being reluctant to come closer to Israel is its relations with other Muslim world or other Muslim countries. If Pakistan maintains a good relation with Israel, then it's possible that their relations with other Muslim world will shatter. So they are very reluctant to come close to Israel because of their good relations with other Muslim countries. So it's also a very important objective, or a prime objective of foreign policy, to maintain the links with other countries. And the third major objective is to seek to promote and further its national interest. Countries usually design their foreign policies in such a way that they seek to promote and further its national interest. The primary interest of each state is self-preservation, security, and well-being of its citizens. So often the interests of various states come in clash, and the states have to protect their interests, bearing in mind this factor. And third and the last objective is the enhancement of political influence in other states. Usually this objective is confined to developed countries only, because the less developed countries don't have that much resources to influence other countries. Usually the first world countries consider this objective as well, to enhance the influence of that state in other countries as well. This was the prime objective in Cold War era, and now as well. The foreign policy aims at enhancement of influence of the states, either by expanding its area of influence or reducing the other states to the position of dependency. The policy of United States and Soviet Union in post-World War II period, which was the Cold War period, has been largely motivated by these considerations. When they try to influence their state, or they try to shrinken the influence, or the influence of the other state in their influential circle. And one more important objective is the enhancement of economic objectives as well. Usually states follow or make their foreign policy to enhance their economic objectives and economic interest. For example, India joined non-alignment movement in post-World War II period because she was trying to capture the resources of both capitalist world and socialist world. So they neither inclined towards capitalist world nor inclined towards socialist world. Rather, they took a middle way by joining non-aligned movement, and they reaped the resources of socialist world as well as capitalist world. Thank you for joining. Take care. Goodbye.